A couple weeks ago, I was watching What Happened to Five Nights at Freddy's by Ryetoast, which is a fantastic video that you can find linked in the description, and he mentioned this old Australian animatronic restaurant that pretty much everyone forgot about.
While America had Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza, over here in Australia we had Pizza Showtime to the west, of which no footage remains, only information and photographs, which honestly you could do an entire video about this lost animatronic restaurant. It's so mysterious.
And I'm here to do exactly that.
Here is the air system. Pump the air for the lifelike movement. Here is now the electric power. This is the big boss. He directs everything. Brain of big boss is here. It is called programmer. Inside is running the tape. It tells us when to talk, sing, and even to breathe.
Whenever anyone brings up an old animatronic attraction like Chuck E. Cheese's or Showbiz Pizza, about 87 literal alarms go off in my head all at once. Any and every old picture taken when these places were in their prime looks like something ripped straight out of Fuhnaff. The games may not be real, but the imagery in them isn't at all unrealistic. Okay, maybe some of it is a little bit unrealistic. My point is, looking back at places like Showbiz really shows just how much inspiration Scott had to work with when he made his first viral game. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are countless people who consider vintage animatronic collection as their main hobby, and they have their own pages and pages of lore, and some of it is more mysterious than the fictional lore. I also think it's worth learning about and celebrating the real story and art of animatronic restaurants instead of letting their reputation get buried and overshadowed by Freddy Fazbear. Let's start with everything we do know. It all starts in September of 1916, September 20th to be exact. It was the middle of World War I. Russia had just been absolutely humiliated by German troops on the Eastern Front. Meanwhile, in Perth, Australia, a man named Thomas Coombe finished his big project, the Grand Theatre. Its name didn't lie. It had a decent bit of seating for around 1,000 people, and it later became the first theatre in Australia to be lit entirely with neon lights. It mainly showed fancy British films, and it was bought and sold by various chains over the years. On October 1st, 1971, the Enchanted Tiki Room opened in Disneyland, the first ever animatronic audio-visual experience.
Audio animatronics?
Right, audio animatronics. Audio for sound.
See, and electronically animated by sound.
This quickly caught the attention of other companies, specifically Atari. In 1977, the first Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater was founded by the co-founder of Atari. That came as a bit of a surprise to me, hearing that Chuck E. Cheese was partially just a way for Atari to promote their games to kids. This marked the beginning of the rise of family entertainment centers, and an Australian company called Leisure and Allied Industries didn't miss this marker. Why is Leisure and Allied Industries important? This company was founded in Perth, Australia. In the year 1980, the same year Showbiz Pizza opened, which I could make an entire video on Showbiz on its own, Paul Gregory was appointed as the new marketing manager for Allied Industries' planned chain of pizza theaters. And what better place was there to start a new pizza theater chain except in Perth's very own Grand Theatre? This would become the animatronic attraction that would be almost entirely lost to time, Pizza Showtime, which opened in 1980, and Mr. Gregory arranged a very interesting cast of animatronics. The lead singers were two koala twins, one of which was named Lottie. Ringo Dingo sat up on the wall and was in love with Lottie. And there was also a fiddle-playing black bear from Tennessee who performed The Devil Went Down to Georgia for some reason. Joey the kangaroo played piano while Melton Palm sat inside the piano and probably sang along with her. A horse head named Ned Kelly also sat somewhere on the wall, and we don't know the name of this wolf-looking mascot, but having him walk around with the kids is definitely a choice. And finally, we have Bert Newhound, who was the compere, meaning the guy who announces each act before they begin. We'll see a little bit more of Bert later, and one interesting thing to note about Bert is that he was voiced by Jack Thompson, a very popular Australian actor who played Anakin's stepfather in Star Wars. The animatronics cost around $100,000, and the owner claimed they had more movements than the characters at Disney. I would show a clip of the characters performing, but like Ryetoast said, there is no footage of Pizza Showtime available on the internet. And we don't even know if there's any footage of it in existence anywhere. Most of the images that we have of Pizza Showtime all come from this one article on theworstofperth.com. The author wrote to Paul Gregory, and he sent a massive amount of pictures to the writer, but they only picked a few to feature on the article. In 1984, Pizza Showtime closed down, and the animatronics were sold to a company in Sydney, I was starting to think I'd imagined it. My younger sister doesn't remember it at all, but I was pretty sure I hadn't made up a bear singing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." Bless you for confirming my sanity. Lots of the commenters on the article and on Reddit mentioned that they had begun to think that the place was just a dream, a false childhood memory, until the article verified its existence, which is the entire premise of the 12th Fazbear Frights book's story, Felix the Shark. In the story, a guy is convinced that he remembers a Freddy's with an animatronic shark from his childhood, but no one believes him and he can't find any information on him. It almost makes me wonder if Scott or whoever wrote this story based it off of the story of Pizza Showtime. The only piece of media related to the place that wasn't provided by the owner for that article is a picture of an original arcade token that was posted on Reddit. Credit to Embarrassed Salary 555 for finding it. No, I didn't lie to you in the title or thumbnail. There is no footage of Pizza Showtime. But I did manage to find a video recorded in 1985 of some of the characters from Pizza Showtime performing in a different attraction after they were sold.
And now, here to start our show, Advanced Animation's latest musical discovery, the sensational Rolling Gnomes!
In this video, Bert Newhound reprises his role as the compere for the Rolling Gnomes, a band of fairy tale creatures with a pre-show delivered by Abraham Lincoln, of all people. And the bear from Tennessee also shows up and performs his signature song, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," once again.
He was in a bind 'cause he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. He came across this young man, sawing a fiddle and playing it hot. And the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, "More limited."
It's an interesting group. The show was put together by a company called Advanced Animations that gathered and assembled animatronic bands to sell to family entertainment centers. The Rolling Gnomes were never sold to any location as far as I know, and it looked like a bit of a hodgepodge of characters that the company had acquired, but it is still cool to finally get to see a couple of these characters perform from one of the first animatronic entertainment centers ever, even if it is after they were sold to a third party. Paul Gregory was active in the comments of the article about his attraction, and you can tell that he had a lot of love for the place. It really is a shame that it didn't end up lasting longer.
The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced.
All of the sources that I mentioned will be linked in the description. Shout out to my fellow Night Guards, Star of the Cosmos, Tyler Feller, Samuel Betunias, Vesat, and Elium. You're the best. Let me know in the comments if I should make this into a bigger video covering the history of animatronic entertainment as a whole. And in the meantime, you can learn more about how Scott Cawthon made Fuhnaff end up with the opposite fate of Pizza Showtime, becoming virtually immortal in the process.